Then they start complaining. They say, "Well, choma, because they want to keep up with my pace."
They later think people just take yogurt, man.
No.
You are the one who was helping the gentleman.
Yes.
Who can believe it? On a white suit, you said?
Yeah, in a white suit, yes. I had a nice white suit. And
were those people seeing like two?
A few of us wear those white suits, man. Myself, 𝐷𝐿𝐴 Shakur.
Remind us of his name.
The officer is just having
What was that? Man, I just go back where I came from. If I see any black mama any day, even if just dead or alive, I go back. Where is this unity found?
National insecurity.
National insecurity, man.
So let nobody lie to you. The military prepares you.
Books as dark as under the bed, by the way. He had to put on white. Viewers, at this point, we gotta engage you guys. How many people can sleep in trenches? Please just say something over there. And tell us if you're having such a good time having this. Man, apart from sleeping in trenches,
let me talk about the black numbers. And so then this gives you quite some confidence. I mean, the training is supposed to build a lot of calmness. All this thing, what it teaches you is to learn to appreciate and embrace discomfort.
Yes.
And to start to feel comfortable. Not feel, but force that feeling of comfort in discomfort. And that is very essential. Yes. In war and everything that we do, for you to master, self-master to the point where you can listen to your heartbeat, you can release a shot in between your breath, not just a breath but a heartbeat. When your body is at utmost stability, man, you master quite a bit. So for you to hit a target 1,000 yards out, and even with those scopes in some cases, because life depends on it. Once you release that shot and you didn't get that target, the following seconds, it could be you. So, won't you? And that's the whole essence of that thing. So, of course, we are there, and I've split my team into two, the kind of what you would call like two teams.
Yeah.
So, as a commander, you'll be the first team and you're taking the first show. So we are here and we have the observation post. We've identified the enemy camp, and we have our equipment out. You have our spotter right there. We got a logging and reporting guy, and as a commander, you're taking turns. You're doing all the intelligence collection.
And then guess what? We hear some kind of shh on top. But we tucked away in a cave and we pasted done some decoration. So brought in foliage and all these things, and so you are hidden. You're hidden. I mean, someone can pretty much come and pee like in the movies.
Total camouflage,
and they won't know. So then there are guys who are in some other split observation post are doing a bit of admin, and they're putting the head down. Not sleeping and snoring away, but just so that you can have 1 foot up, 1 foot down. Okay, because this is really intense. If you don't do that, I mean, fatigue will catch up with all of you. So you have to have that kind of balance. Man, so we're here and it's almost ending. So my 2 guys, 3 guys each, and these guys are happy, like, we're getting relief in the next few, because it's 2 hours straight, 2 hours. Just before that, you get some commotion. What's going on? So all of us are all ears, and by that time you got your weapon out and you're on trigger too, man.
Yes.
Safety catches are off and you're on trigger too. It requires some like 2 pounds of strength to pull the trigger. And like, if it shit hits the fan, we are good news, and then we're out of this place. Next thing, it's some heavy weight of a fall, and right in front of the OP. This is a sheer drop. Between us and that is a sheer drop, like it's a cliff face. And there's 2 snakes like intertwined like that. And they're just dancing and having their good time here, and man, all of us just, for the first time we can't locate which language that guy spoke. I know he's watching. His name starts with Alpha. Alpha Oscar. Quiet guy. He was the Mr. Quiet. Man, this guy spoke in. That's not their language. That's not his mother tongue. Neither is it. We've never placed it.
Yes.
It was like a train wreck.
Or rather, he was speaking in tongues.
I thought all these things we left at cadet training.
So then you bring in all these lessons, all the training, all this other, everything that training does. So that kicks in during this operation. And I mean, it's just
that comfort in discomfort.
Yeah.
And chances are the storm weathers off. And we were there. And by the time they were back into that split OP and the new team came in, they were... I mean, if you all documented some of these things when it's happening live,
it was crazy.
You tried tens and tens and tens of
pages. Would you
Absolutely.
remember what day that was? It must have been on a Friday.
Man, that was not a good day like a Friday.
Yeah.
I was born on a Friday.
Yes.
And Fridays are good days.
It's a good.
That must have been... You were born on a Tuesday or something?
No. On a Saturday. I guess that's why I value my weekends.
Man, Mr. Oh my God, I almost did it. No, Mr. Cameraman, you're doing well. My brother, you are saying that places you've been, I would not rather even sit.
Yeah, sure.
Where are those places?
Starting with boots, you know, we say in the parachute regiment, you guys, we wear...
Yeah, you
boots
people wear the kind of boots we
that your boyfriend, not
that,
you now, but...
That their boyfriends feel uncomfortable
Cannot
standing.
stand it.
Standing in. Yes. Tell me, man, how was it?
As he rightfully said,
Yeah.
training prepares you.
Yes.
But there are some unique lessons that you only learn
Yeah.
Through experience.
in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Unexpected. You just have to do on-job training and just run with it. I mean, the experiences in operations are quite a thing. I think I've had experience in internal security operations from 𝐡𝐞𝐽𝐫 to Liboi. I remember the first instance that the Al-Shabaab bombarded, bombarded an OP. Actually, it was a police post in Dadajibula. I was part of the first team to arrive in Liboi. So there's something that we call change parade. Change parade in training. That one moment you are being told that okay, fine, it's a weekend.
I'm praying you don't talk about Sierra, man. I'm praying you don't talk about it. You didn't back into that parade.
So Adera in his cream suit is preparing to go to town for at least some 3-4 hours, and then come back. And then by the time we are assembling to be released, you just reach the gate, and then you're told, "Hey, cadets, let's go back to the parade square." And then you come back, and then you're told, no. One of you was spotted buying milk and bread at the kiosk. So
Your program may change.
The OC is very mad, and the program has changed. We are going back to fatigue, rather going to do some
in 2 minutes.
duties. In 2 minutes, nataka kuona mmevaa kinyasa. Kila mtu akuja na panga na ground shit. Then you're like, shit, man, what is this?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's not happening?
What's not happening?
What's not happening? No, what's happening?
You've already placed a call to Madam So and so. I'm coming over. We are coming over for the weekend. Weka mbili baridi.
Kwa bili yako ama bili yake? Kwa bili ya kadeta ama bili yake?
She will wait for that call. She will wait for that arrival.
Nabil.
So these are some of the things.
Let's clear about the bill part. Somebody is in town, Nakuru, probably taking some 2 calls.
And Makiu, there was no M-Pesa.
There was no M-Pesa at that time.
M-Pesa that time. And we were being paid cash.
Yes.
So somehow they would sort themselves out. I don't know how, but they said...
But you will remain single for the rest of the period.
This change parade was the funniest of it.
So
when you're told to go and get into some order of dress, it can be combat order, it can be fatigue order.
Timed.
It's timed, one. And two, if you miss a dress as part of that which has been said to be donned or worn at that particular point in time, you'd rather get back naked.
Yes.
And we had
because
those
it is
scenarios.
an offense. It is an offense.
We had one officer still serving as well. Got back into that parade. He went back, and I think we'd ironed our we'd watched our PT PT gear the previous day. So there of course there was 𝐤𝐻𝐿𝐴 in the lines. So of course you guys are running, and by that time you landed the first one, and of course people are being punished here. Yeah. So this guy gets there and someone has taken his shot.
What? No, what happened? I think one cadet did not wash their PT
Bus,
shirt. So he could not adorn it. So he went and took somebody's dress from the cross line. So the owner of that shot by the time I was arriving there's no PT shot.
What do you do in such a situation?
No, that's why he's saying there's some comedy bit in it.
What about the mitigatory measures?
Because what we saw is there was somebody among us in the parade who was just in the t-shirt and the drawers cotton. That is innerwear.
And you have to track him.
And in boots and socks. But chini huku ako tu nani.
Now what about the other apparatus that are facing down? But then who know what?
And this is not a nice pant.
No. What?
The army calls it drawers cotton.
Drawers cotton hanging loose.
Hanging loose.
Yes.
The fly is here.
Yes.
The fly is almost reaching your knee.
It's one size fits all.
But then it means that it must be so hollow.
No, that's why I'm saying. And even you will be comfortable in it. Anybody else who is thin will be comfortable in it. I myself, what size fits all. So this guy presents himself like that, and actually has tucked in the t-shirt in the underwear. Crazy. You can just try to figure out. You are in boots, socks, tucked in.
I don't want to figure out. But then how was this guy?
Because you cannot miss the parade. You cannot miss the parade.
Number one.
And you cannot adorn anything else.
Except
ati uende uvae nguo ya nyumbani ati umevaa ndo trouser kama hii umeenda parade. How?
No, yezi kwa kama hiyo.
So hii ni ya pesa mingi. Hii ni ya pake. Mukuchu. Fulusi.
So anyway, these situations do prepare yourself. They prepare you for things.
Yeah, so you're in the battlefield and 1 minute you are there, it's comfort, then the next.
I remember we were on standby.
Yeah.
On a Sunday evening, I was almost calling because I was in charge of standby for my squadron. So I'm calling the CEO, the commanding officer.
Yeah.
Telling him it was around 5. Hello sir, everything is okay. We have done the beat. Nothing to report. And then he says, Bonaya, wait. I don't want to listen to your report.
Yes.
What I want right now is I want you and your troop at the main gate in the next 1 hour. You are being given fuel, you are being given ammunition. I want to hear that you are en route to Liboy. That's on a Sunday evening. And I have my girlfriend in the mess. Officer's mess. Of course I've sneaked her in.
But you still have 1 hour to go.
Yeah? So you can imagine.
Yes.
And I was making the call with her.
Yeah.
So all she had was yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
And end of quote.
She just saw a mad guy jumping into my uniforms, everything. Asks me, is there a problem? I told her, no. There's no problem. In the next 2-3 hours, I was at the main gate with my troops. We left Gilgil at around 9 p.m.
The night?
9 in the night.
Yeah.
Because I'm told, I want to see you and your troops outside the gate so that somebody can report that these troops have left. Okay? So, shida mtasota utapo nje ya gate. Mwingine anakuambia, excuse me sir, mimi nimeacha sijui bag yangu wapi. Anambia kimbia ukachukue ukutupate hapa nje ya gate. But somebody has reported that these guys have cleared the gate.
Okay.
So I've left the girlfriend, and by midnight I was in Kahawa. We spent the night in Kahawa Garrison. By noon the next day, I was in Garissa. By 1400 hours, I was in Liboy. Even before this lady that I left, the girlfriend now, reached Nairobi.
Yes.
I was already in Garissa. So I was calling her, telling her, babe, by the way, I'm in Garissa safely. And then he tells me, hata sisi hatujafika Naivasha, umefikaje Garissa? So these are some of the challenges. I think that was quite an experience.
That was a highlight. That's what.
Yeah, those are some of the highlights. You are prepared right from the onset.
Yeah.
Let me tell you one thing. With proper training.
Yeah.
With proper conditioning, and as Byron told you earlier, that you are trained to accommodate and take full charge of your body.
Yeah.
mentally, physically. I
And
mean,
even
it
spiritually.
takes a lot of mental strength to transit from one peaceful situation to another chaotic.
Yes.
Because by the time I'm in Liboy, risasi weka mbele, because we are into Al-Shabaab territory.
Yeah.
So I've forgotten in less than 24 hours, I've forgotten. My mind is focused on the mission.
The mission.
Yeah. So the training kind of conditions you to have that accommodative and flexibility. So it's crazy, man. But it's a good thing.
Even that coming back to the parade without a trouser, a short.
It's a lesson on its own.
It's something that was done. This guys lost an army trouser when we were waiting. 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐻𝐻𝐿. That's something that's.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I was holding hands with the officer. I was holding hands with the officer who we were. Okay, I think it was such a
exercise. It was the last one of
Grand
FTX. Grand finale. Yes.
So we were crossing 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐻𝐻.
And it was raining.
It's raining.
Like now, man, flooded.
Crazy.
Was busting its banks.
Swelling.
It's in the middle of the night. We are supposed to cross that river, walk so many clicks to get to the final RV.
Rendezvous.
And then by dawn, we are conducting an attack.
Yeah.
So this officer, by that time a cadet officer, we are holding hands, moving, crossing the river.
Yeah.
And then I see something floating on the water. But
what could that be? A crocodile?
Or
is that
mbona hii mamba inatukimbia inaenda hii
opposite direction. Hii mamba imeshiba sana.
Everybody is silent.
Ama mamba inafaa.
So by the time we are through crossing and everybody is trying to dry themselves up, put on the trousers, and then somebody comes and say, "Oh, unajua trouser yangu ilienda na maji."
Then you have to rely on the cotton. Man, you people never used to wear Leopoldo.
You're going through this. Look, you want to feel some comfort, right?
Yes.
So what he did, you have the army pouches and all.
Yes.
So before we crossed,
we removed
so, I mean,
the
this is initiative. What the army teaches by that training, initiative.
Yes.
Remove the boots, hang them.
Officer with initiative.
Hadi kwako.
Chukua initiative.
Nobody
in the
teaches you
absence
how to
of
cross a
command
river.
and explicit instructions. Initiative. Take initiative. So no one tells you like, man, you need
when
your feet
get into a
warm
river
and dry
crossing,
and
remove your boots.
Yeah, something like that. You can use them as floaters, by the way. I mean, funga the trousers at the bottom. And these lessons are very critical even during this flooded period. You can grow for yourself, get for yourself some floaters. Air in, and especially with the surface tension. What do you call it?
Surface tension,
yes. So, and then tie. Yes. I mean, even when you're just washing your clothes, you see that pocket of air. Yes, that can form a floater for you.
That is a floater.
That can form a floater for you. So initiative. I mean, and it's just you thinking and taxing your brains and acting out of common sense in most cases. So that's what we did.
Man.
So then this guy didn't
take initiative. He didn't take initiative.
That was him, man.
Man, now he proceeded to the attack at dawn with
don't tell that guy straight like.
You remember the guy who marched on at the parade with the underwear plus the t-shirt? Now this guy had to trek, or rather to navigate. Remember it was
rainy
around
season.
Midnight,
And it's a rainy season.
It's not matching on the road.
We
are scaling easy thorny bushes.
Yes.
So this guy akona panty yake na juu amevaa combat shirt.
Amepiga luku moja
safi. Uzuri hapo na boot. Bas ni kutembea sasa. But he was not the only culprit. The other one lost the boots. Zilienda na maji pia yeye. Aliteleza ikaingia kwa maji. So yeye alitembea mguu kavu for around 15 kilometers kwa kichaka. Kwa kichaka in the midst hapo tunapitia. It was Shabarova. You are in the midst of a herd of buffaloes. And the air is so still, your hair is all charged up.
Yes, goosebumps.
Now you can remember this guy who is on foot with bare feet. And remember this other guy.
Piga luku moja hatari.
Luku ya costume sasa. Anapita katikati ya nyati.
Na ndovu.
Na
kunaye na howling behind you guys, following you. Kuna kadeta alivutwa na fisi.
Yes.
And then Fisi laughs after attacking you.
Because by the time you're doing exercise, that was after a long drop.
After long drop.
You remember when we were talking about, man, long drop is towards the end of the, and this we do, what do you call it in special forces?
Training.
Yeah, insertion ops.
Of
Insertion ops or infiltration ops, walking through enemy gaps to go and secure a particular objective behind enemy lines. So it's called stealth and all, and in small teams. That is what navigation prepares you for. So there's one interesting on that exercise, long drop. So towards the end of cadet senior 𝐴𝐵𝐾 training. So you dropped all alone at some point, start point, and it's broken in 3 legs. And you walk like the crow flies, point A to point B is like 40, 50 kilometers. And by the time you are getting done here, you've covered in excess of 80 because no one walks like this, just planting one foot in a straight line. So by the time you are getting done on the second, third day, and you've not showered,
you've not slept.
You've not slept. Some people were just unanuka ngiri. So this guy, and by the time you're unafika, and then you are one among the last guys, people get to congregate and you sleep. So in there, so you're safe. So you get in here, people have occupied there. So you're in the periphery.
Yeah.
Mtu alivutwa na fisi. Because the hyenas, they're smelling
Melala usingizi.
Alivutwa close to 50 meters, 100 meters huko. Unasikia mtu anapiga nduru.
Fisi.
Huko.
But the fisi didn't even try.
Grabbed him by the feet. Of course, his feet are smelling. He's thinking, these are carcass. The hyenas think like carcass is in here.
So there are valuable lessons. There are valuable lessons. There are memorable moments.
You've said that the stench is so strong it can resuscitate our economy, man.
I remember lessons of resource management.
Yes.
Resource management. I remember one of the officers still serving, and we were, I think, in grand final, Larisoro or somewhere there. And during the skirmishes, we carry our MREs, meals ready to eat.
Yeah.
So as we were skirmishing, be your brother's keeper.
Yeah.
So the water bottle comes off. The guy behind him who was providing covering fire saw an opportunity.
To do what?
Took that water bottle. Of course he has his, but took that water.
Wow, that's
and
not
then he's caught.
And
then the other guy in front looks behind and says, that is my water bottle.
And you're in the line of fire.
The guy has already emptied it.
And you're in the line of fire.
The guy is, 𝐵𝐵𝐾 is the instructor. Maji yangu huyo nikunywa. So the instructors are very wise. So they wait until the attack is over. Everything is settled and done. Now it's lunchtime. So wapi kade so kuja hapa. So the guy is given that corned beef. Man, it's salty. It's salty piece of meat.
The one who drank somebody's water.
Yes. So it's given. That can is supposed to be shared amongst four
people.
But he was given it alone to eat it, and then it was just bring your water bottle. So he ate the corned beef plus the beans, roasted beans in sauce. So
there's little biscuits that
the temperatures
feel like the back of a tree, like a tree in the back of a tree.
I've tasted some of those.
The temperatures are almost at 42 there.
What?
So this guy, we went into phase 2 of the attack. Phase 2 of the attack.
So
without water.
With the corned beef. That was the punishment was given. Amekula corned beef na maharagwe, hakuna maji. So the guy is
mambo ni live.
Anafanya attack and then anasema saidia maji.
But that teaches you integrity.
From that day, even us, who are not partakers of that punishment,
water.
We came to realize
that guy fainted, man. At the end of the day, guy fainted. Yes. He was dying.
He was dehydrated. So we came to learn that valuable lesson that you are comrades.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you take somebody's ration or water?
Yeah.
Because literally, you are spelling doom.
You are killing them.
Somebody who is supposed to be protecting your life. Because he took that opportunity while he was providing covering fire. So this guy who was careless enough to drop
meaning he was even distracted.
Yes, he was distracted. But the distraction came out of the extreme temperatures that we are training. lot of thirst and you're only doing like a liter or a liter and a half of water. Yeah. So there are memorable moments, but there are lessons that we do apply even in our lives today.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The making of a super soldier. And just to take you a little back and probably open up to the most interesting bit, and nobody would want to miss this. Man, the moment you tell your girlfriend nothing is wrong and you reach, wherever Liboy, wherever Al-Shabaab is trying to.
Never heard of Liboy in your entire life?
Man, I've never even heard of
There's places we've gone to and literally I've never had to shake a hand like,
man,
how you doing, man? Where
you're
you
from Liboy?
Ndodungo kwe.
Lodokeje.
Or Lodokeje.
It is Lodokeje. You know, like
it's not on a normal day.
If Harmonize,
not in a normal lifetime.
If Harmonize, the artist, was alive at the day and time of you and your girlfriend parting ways, you would probably be having his hardest hit, the hottest hit. I'm single again. Tell me.
By the way, we parted ways.
You have to. That's why, gentlemanly, man.
The lady could not take
even if it were you,
because
the roles were changed.
I left Gilgil and I left the town life, urban life, for 4 months.
What?
Yes, for 4 months. No communication, no nothing. If I want to communicate, you have to come back to the border so that you get a signal for Safaricom.
Guys, you tell me, especially the ladies, would you be kind and brave enough to be patient with these people who give out their life for us? Would you be patient with these brave men and women? And it goes even for the men. Do tell us on our comment section, on our socials, reach out. Would you be so patient if I tell you, man, today I'm going to Mogadishu? And to cap it up all, because the time is far well spent, and as we can see, deep into the night, we are not even half through this conversation. Man, if Harmonize was there, I think he would not be very impressed. But then, man, you people also used to sing in those Buktas Vinyasa?
Yes, I remember those loveliest of songs. And I think
as if you were enjoying the process.
We were enjoying the process.
I mean, unison songs.
Now I know, man.
Dead on. Begin. What were the songs?
Now I know what these guys are singing those nasty songs.
Throw a jibe, man.
I don't know, but I've been told.
I don't know, but I've been told.
Artillery guns are made of wood.
And parachutes are made of paper.
Man, even the song isn't over. The song isn't over. Now some they sing in here.
But I know the thing is they say, and it's actually really psychological.
Yeah.
Like when you're going through the hardest of stuff, and that's why you see people run. You know, music and stuff. But as long as you're safe, you're out there and hitting the road, it gets your mind off that action. And that's how it works psychologically. So the army must have learned this. The army has had the best of brains, I guess. Contrary to the popular, narrative that's out there. So the best of brains and bronze, like I was commenting the other day on, when the general's ceremony was going down on Citizen, that among the special breed of warriors, special forces, you find the best of brains and brawn, where excellence is the minimum acceptable standard. But then to get to that point, there's got to be, you embrace distractions. Sometimes some of these things, I think that's why the army sings. Because literally when you're doing those army morning run songs, the steps and it's just motivated and the steps just keep going, man. It's just one foot after the other, and it gets that rhythmic with the artillery guns are made of wood, and then they just keep going. And the parachute regiment songs are among the very best.
And those of you who had frog throats or voice box.
No.
Not
in the army, everybody sings.
Everybody sings.
Whether or not
and I think that's why we can make the best of musicians, man. You can make the best
you people have produced Maroon Commandos, man.
Some popular musicians have been looking for me, man, hunting me down.
They're probably hunting for him during the night. That's when he's a nocturnal. Babuya, tell me. How was this particular experience?
No, these unison songs are world over.
Yeah.
I go to any military.
Yes.
They are rallying calls, they are motivational songs, as he rightfully put it. And the culmination of it by the time the army, or rather the military is done with you, then you are able now to see a general of such a caliber, the late Ogola, receiving all these accolades
and commendations.
All these commendations.
Yeah.
Because it is fine-tuning to the last bit. To the extent that they say that generals, or rather military officers, do not die.
Just
They
fade
just
away.
fade away. They just fade away. I think some of these developed countries have very good systems in terms of looking and taking care of veterans. And I'm glad that we've started with a BA challenge. We are bringing on board a lot of veterans. Because these are rare breeds. They've undergone so much fine-tuning to enable them undertake whatever tasks and service and sacrifices
that comes their way.
So I think give and take. If I were to go back again to the military training,
into the singing classroom.
No, you just jump into the ship again. But there is a tricky bit. They say once you have undergone through that training, they cannot admit you, because now you know all the tricks. It will not be fun again.
To know if
because the fun of it is the uncertainty.
There is no repeating in cadet training.
No. In fact, there was a cadet who was dropped midway before us, and he came in with our recruitment batch, but he was disqualified because once you've undergone that training, and then you are disqualified, and then you are coming back, then that training will not suit you because already you know some bits of what to expect. The beauty of it is for you to be the certainty, the being blank, so that gives the instructors and the service
to mold you into something suitable.
The space to break you down bit by bit. By the time you are second lieutenant, you are full lieutenant, you are captain, you are major, you are lieutenant colonel, you are colonel, you are brigadier, you are major general, you are general now. It's fine-tuning at each and every stage, and there's some memorable moments through the ladder.
Okay.
So that's it.
Umesema pale cadet training hakuna supplementary.
Hakuna.
Then you people must be very clever, man.
Absolutely right.
You people are top.
You are in all this crazy stuff, and what we have not told is that there's exams after every other 7 days. Man, every week.
I mean, it's all this crazy stuff.
In cadet training.
I guess I would do so much in exams than I would do so much in.
Would he match our standards? Would he match our standards any day?
Take it this way. You are coming from a logress. A logress, 20 kilometers or 15 kilometers, logress. And by the time you get to the camp, you are told, okay, cadet, kila mtu aenda akachukue kalamu
na karatasi.
Ukuje kwa kiwanja. Then you are spread out. You are tired, you are fatigued. Then you are told there's a cut. Weapon.
For how long does the cut take?
No, it can take as short as as short as you want it. I never spend as much time in an exam room. I have never had in my entire life. So the thing is, what we are trying to say here is that it draws you out. It sucks every juice out of you
until we get the cream.
Until we get the cream.
And then we inject, and then you are injected with what we want.
Yes. So you are from that logress. Any normal person would not drag their brains and pour them on piece of paper and have their muscles, translate that into some meaningful stuff on paper.
You remember we were given there's a day we were given an exam. With rules on top of it.
Yes.
Read all instructions before you answering the question.
Yes.
Now, the first rule was do not write your name or service number. The second instruction was do not attempt any question. But out of that fatigue and out of this is an exam,
the people who wrote their names and that started karatasi zichukuliwa, those guys were failed.
Yes.
And they went home. That was actually
paying attention to details. That was the lesson.
Yes.
Paying attention to The finer details, small
It
details.
was that serious.
Exceptional. Now, as we end this, we're in a very precarious situation as a country. We are in a leap year, and if anything, leap years are synonymous with the swelling levels of water in our water bodies. You, as the finest and veterans who have served this country, and we owe our lives to you, we owe our allegiance to you. Perhaps this country owes a lot to you. Winston Churchill one time he remarked when he was handling the World War II, when they were going to go to the Battle of Normandy, which was
the Normandy landing.
Ideally a diversion.
We shall fight them in the beaches.
A diversion. We shall fight them in the seas, fight them in the beaches, fight them in the air. But he said, in no particular time in history has so much been owed to so few.
Yes.
That's how big you people, we regard you out here. And as a governance expert and as a business, director of business development under the BA Challenge, I recognize that with the severity that comes with. Now, apart from being a crocodile consultant, apart from seeing cobras mating, how do we particularly navigate this horrible system called flooding in Nairobi City? And perhaps not in this city alone. Very many cities flood days on end. How do we alleviate this from a personal perspective, and what are the mitigatory measures that we can give to the government, offer to the government as the alternative solution as we end this on a high, man?
Well, I think the flooding, what we need to understand is that flooding is the most common of natural disasters that we have world over.
Yeah.
Now, it depends on how different nations and different governments approach to it.
Yeah.
Depends on the topographical coining of whatever region you are coming from.
Yeah.
But in the Kenyan scenario, what I understand and what I know is there is a formation. There is a formation, multi-agency formation for disaster response. It has all components of the military, engineers especially. You have the police, you have other civilian organizations, just to provide mitigative solutions to disasters when it comes to flooding and etc.
Yeah.
But again, when you come to the government, there are policies, there are directives, there are agencies that are directly in contact with such disasters.
Yes.
When you're talking about TARDA, for example, the Tana and the River Development Authority, which is managing the Seven Forks
the
dam.
dams, the big dams of Kenya.
I will particularly talk of that because I'm a beneficiary of these dams, because coming from Garsen down there, we know anytime Kindaruma is opened to spew off the excesses, we are bound to be affected there.
Definitely.
So definitely these are some of the things that are there. These agencies which are in direct contact with these disasters. The policies are supposed to be guiding us. But again, always, as it says, it is said that the buck again comes back to
the president.
No, it's not the president.
To us.
To you and me. By the time TARDA is issuing an alert, by the time Red Cross are issuing alerts that there is likelihood for the rain to be severe, extreme weather, so the rivers will be swelling. So those who are in low-lying areas go back to safer areas. But again, how much sensitization, and how much is this information being consumed by the public, or rather by the citizenry? It is unfortunate that I come from Tana River, and sometimes once such information gets there, then you see the locals are a bit ignorant. And then the next minute it's Serikali's idea. Serikali's idea. So we need to address the issues of attitudes, the issues of ignorance, the issues of sensitization. I mean, even in Nairobi here, we can say that people are there's all over information, especially now that everybody has a phone,
Yes.
people are in social media and everything. These alerts have been there, but nobody seems to take heed. We have had so many incidences of cars being swept away by surface water, but it is unfortunate that each and every season of flooding, we must experience a car, a service vehicle that is being swept away.
Deaths, displacements.
Just because of lack of, I would say, ignorance, discipline, and I don't know. But something must be done, and I think some of these culprits, I think at some point, in my own opinion, they must be held accountable, because a driver who is driving a matatu, I saw a matatu being swept away, I think in
Super Metro, just went into the beach, man.
Sheer macho man
with human beings.
The other matatu, you're not carrying cabbages. These are human lives. There's a slay queen in there who's the only flood water is in ni maji kwa beseni. So akiona maji hivi tayari amepanic. So these are some of the attitudes that we need to change. We need to change. But of course the government has so many other plans in place. But I would say some of these calamities cannot be avoided. For us is just to lessen the impact, the negative
to live with this.
The negative impacts, because you talk to a guy in Tana River, I would say these floods are not totally negative or destructive. Because once they flow into the oxbow lakes, those oxbow lakes are the catchment area for fish. And we used to thrive
in those catchment areas. Na mamba. La Costa.
La Costa. Tunakula vizuri sana. By the time the water is receding, we are planting rice.
Mashallah.
We are doing away with the rice, we are planting maize. So it's just trying to lessen the negative impacts. I think that is what we are supposed to be thinking as a country.
Now, as we are wrapping this up on a high, and today I learned a very interesting fact. You know, the first flooding happened in the Black Sea. 5,000 BC.
Is that where Noah's Ark was?
Probably yes, but would be so generous enough to find out. Now, Mr. Byron, and sorry for calling you that, because in other quarters you speak on behalf of corporate security.
Yes.
In other quarters you speak on behalf of, more or less good citizenship and people who endear and want this country to do better. We are recognizing that certain things such as extreme heat, flooding, earthquakes, they are not going to end today just because we don't like them. We gotta find a way of how do we cope with them, live with them in a manner that still supports decency and human dignity, which is enshrined in our Kenyan constitution. I didn't like it particularly when I was seeing people sleeping in roofs. That, the electricity is looped in poorly, leave alone that there is the element of thunder and lightning, that whole roof can crumble down. A lot of variables here. What are the things that you think we can borrow from these disciplined forces to us as civilians to work better, think better, and act better?
Well, with all due respect to humans out there, Homo sapiens as they are, the history of evolution.
Homo sapiens sapien.
Yes. I mean, with all due respect to the modern man, it's very interesting how badly behaved and poorly behaved we all are. If anything, a lot of pundits out there and detectives, both psychological, business, opinion, formers or makers, I've been talking about the greatest challenge to humanity or are humans themselves. If this world was to end any day, it would be on the altar of bad human behavior. And that's why Babuya quite validly talked about how much it is about you and I. Because even if we're talking about the government, drug government, whose government? Government is us. If anything, by democratic formations of governments, is for us, by us, and as they say, right? But away from that, there's examples you cited and which we have seen on social media and all these things floating. I was watching them with my throat, my heart beating in my throat like this. And you're thinking, whatever that lady is grasping is perhaps an electric line, because and that's how much desperation can cause someone to get to a level where they don't appreciate risks that are pretty much existential. On those roofs, and I'm thinking, if there's no strap that's holding that together, and this person is pretty much just, you know, cut into pieces as they drop to a whatever. And you can imagine the water level has risen to a point where it's crazy, and there are no openings in those kind of houses, and you're buried alive, you know, literally buried alive. But then the sheer carelessness that you see on the part of those cited examples, motorists, anyway, Oxbow Lake, Nairobi Lake, Lake Wobegon effect, which is a psychological principle that was brought together by, it's called Garrison Keillor, the human's illusory superiority, which they define as a weird psychological wrinkle that causes most of us to think that we are better than, you know,
than others,
than actually most of us, okay? Yes. Which is not empirical and mathematically correct, but this is the way the society is formed now, that we do not appreciate superior knowledge, we do not appreciate that we can actually change ourselves to get to the next best level, and that's why you see we actually lagging behind in terms of what? The developments that have been happening. You're thinking the concrete jungles, and we were discussing at some point, where the unplanned developments and our bad behavior, which is the common denominator, land grabbing, and controlled urban development, you know, corruption. You're supposed to construct a road, but because you're cutting corners, you don't fit enough drainage systems. Our sewers are not optimized enough to sustain the developments, which is putting a lot of pressure on them. And then we have our other bad habits, you know, littering and all these things. So our drainage systems are clogged. Where is the government's hand in that? Perhaps in terms of ensuring that we unclog and clear our drainage systems, open up our roads and optimize them for, you know, flow of runoff, let's say. Because we had our roads forming rivers that are flowing into whatever lakes. If anything.
The drainage were all clean.
Our roads became
the drainage system.
Absolutely. So look at that. And that tells you something quite clearly, that nature is actually sending a signal to us and telling how stupid we can all be within whatever organization. It can be a country, can be a county, like now we Nairobi County. And then you are seeing some kind of responses that are actually awfully silly, so to speak. Because any disaster response or emergency preparedness response programs are supposed to be optimized to really alleviate this kind of destruction as and when they happen. So they're the things they're doing in the background at peacetime, as we call it in war. So that by the time this is happening, you have some level of optimization to respond pretty sharpish, you know, or in a manner that is effective and efficient. But you don't seem to do that. I mean, you're getting these boards that cannot mount some good response in terms of pretty much getting people out of harm's way in a fast or in a rapid way. You don't. To a point where you have some individuals like, you know, we had this comedian, famous guy, 𝐿𝐼𝐿 Omondi. Now looking like he was doing a better job, more organized than a whole system that would really pretty much just come to bear. So in terms of emergency planning, and we know this from the security perspective, that you put all systems go, because emergencies are unroutine in nature. So you must optimize your system to act in unroutine ways, so that you're not waiting for a president to come after 2-3 days and say, oh, by then we have now scrambled people to now have NYS. And you have to do all these things and have these teams start to cooperate and seamlessly bind with each other in a manner that does not bring friction. Because even efforts, much as, and I have many they are, if uncoordinated, they become worse than useless. What you bring into the equation is what you call the bystander effect, the diffusion responsibility, apathy, and you don't have any kind of, you know, meaningfulness in terms of coordination. So people rock up with shovels that look like reminiscent to someone,
or
you
cups,
know, draining an ocean with troughs or spoons. Those are not the kind of programs that you need to see now. So clear the roads. Have some controlled developments. Have some proper plans, behavioral change, drainage systems. You know, have proper resources go to proper areas and coordinate people in peacetime so that they're able to respond. Schools are opening next week. What's going to happen?
If people are not going to be traveling from point A to point B, now that is going to be hampered just because someone somewhere sat on popular intelligence and perhaps knowledge. We should be fine-tuned to lockstep with the current times, but they didn't do that. But most importantly, and I should mention that if you were to become solidly connected and your brother's keeper, life would be a lot better for everybody. And that's where the BA challenge comes in, to remind and to give a tap on that shoulder and remind you that we can all partake of a level of consciousness that inspires better living. We can all become better citizens by being conscious of how to live sustainably, because if we destroy the world as it is today, it's going to be worse for our children and our children's children. So how do we reasonably walk back this superior road of life and say we can swim up the river and change the course of the river? We can change the outlook of our problems. We can reverse the effects of global warming and climate change. All these things are doable in this lifetime if we became conscious, renegotiated our ways, and we became better citizens.
Thank you.
And by the way, the BA challenge is gonna dive into this scenario, and I think this gentleman is gonna address that. So,
MLK, Martin Luther King, was opined that if we don't learn to live together as brothers and sisters, we shall all perish. Not die, perish. Perish like fools. ASAT, in order to also be proactive and not reactive, as we have seen most state agencies. We are organizing and we are going to do this, and perhaps when this video will be already going up, we will be showing, very beautiful pictures of us stepping in, taking our hands and our arms, trying to bring our brothers and sisters who are deeply challenged in our informal sectors settling in Nairobi. And particularly Mathare, particularly Kibra, particularly Korogocho, will continue to put them in our hearts, prayers and activities, so that we can give children hope, we can give families life, and above all, we can give meanings to goals. We have to do another episodes, man.
Yeah, this is gonna go on until cows come back. And Churchill once said, "It takes any man can actually pee on the floor, but it takes a special type of man to crap on the cellar."
What the hell?
I'll elaborate.
Let's leave it on a high.